Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I have more Trump regrets to share with you today, more Donald Trump voters entering the find out phase of their journey. Before I jump into these posts and these video clips, please do me a huge favor. Hit the subscribe button below this video. It is free for you. Really, really helps the show, so I greatly appreciate it. So this first person that I have to share with you, they essentially wrote an entire novel on Reddit, so I'm not going to read the entire thing. I'll just share the highlights. But they said, quote, I voted for Trump in 2024. It took a lot in me to do it, but I did it. I live in Nashville, so I voted Trump up top, and actually I voted blue all the way down. I am not a huge fan of Tennessee Republicans. I find them too extreme. I would consider myself similar to a Northeastern Republican or a 90s Democrat. And then they went on to say that they watched the debate. They thought that Kamala Harris actually beat Trump, but that she didn't offer anything new and different from Biden. And they said that they believe that the Democratic Party is corrupt. I mean, yeah, corporate Democrats are corrupt, but, not any worse than Republicans. But anyway, this person also said that they like the health and food changes that RFK Jr. was planning to make. And they wrongly believed that Trump was going to end the Russia-Ukraine war. He was going to reduce inflation, bring back jobs, blah, 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 provide transparency. They mentioned the Jeffrey Epstein case. Then this Reddit user laid out each issue that turned them against Trump. They said, quote, Epstein files. Guy thinks we're stupid. He campaigns on the Epstein files, realizes he's on there, and is now telling us to stop worrying about it, getting rid of the Department of Education. This is insane. I don't know if I necessarily trust Republicans when it comes to education these days. And then the post continues with, quote, the big beautiful bill, and abhorrently terrible bill that only helps people in the top tax brackets. It benefits the rich and not the working class, young people like myself who voted for Trump. Tariffs, we're the ones having to foot the cost. Immigration. Trump is basically telling these guys they have free will to do whatever, and it's messed up. And then they ended the post with, quote, I will absolutely be voting all blue come the midterms and will be voting for a sensible Democrat next election. This guy has ruined it for me. So good on this person. If you have the courage, you have the character to admit that you made a mistake, if you're taking steps to rectify that mistake, I'll welcome you. I welcome you with open arms, no more judgment. And yeah, this really shows Donald Trump is ruining it for the entire Republican Party. So I don't know what they're thinking. But anyway, this next Trump regret comes from a recent focus group with swing voters. And again, this is from the state of Nevada. They voted for Biden in 2020, and then they voted for Trump in 2024. So take a listen to what this person has to say.
Is not a hoax. We've seen evidence that there is an Epstein and there's an Epstein Island and there is planes that have gone there, and there's a lot of evidence that shows that, including photos. So if there is no issue with this, he is the president. He has the option to go ahead and say, you know what? You guys think this is a hoax? You guys don't think it's a hoax? Here's all the information. You can make use of what you want to do with it. But I feel that he has fear about if this gets turned out, what would happen to him. So he is trying to, as someone had said, deflect.
Yeah. So obviously talking about the Jeffrey Epstein cover up and all that. So they're catching on. Trump's only been in office for 6 months. They're already getting it. So the midterms are going to be very interesting. This next post came from Instagram. So Trump posted a meme and it showed Obama in O.J. Simpson's infamous white Bronco chase. I'm sure you guys all remember that. And it shows Trump in a cop car following him. And then in another car, it showed J.D. Vance, like in another cop car. But what was so hysterical is that the image of Vance had that massive fat face. I know you guys have seen that meme going around where he has like the big fat face and the goatee, and then he has like the long curly hair. So, why you doing your VP so dirty, Trump? Anyway, a woman named Courtney replied, quote, as someone that has voted for you twice now, if you even think to pardon that Maxwell woman, you will lose so many people's respect. Release the list and stand on your word, or you're just like the rest of them. And almost the entire comment section, by the way, was just filled with comments about Epstein and the list, or images and videos of Trump and Epstein together. So he got ratioed hard. Over on Reddit, someone posted in a conservative group, quote, objectively speaking, it's just baffling how he's handling the whole thing. I guess at this point, he truly doesn't seem to give a fuck if people who voted for him turn on him. It's a shame having to deal with all of this again when there's a lot of other things we need to be focusing on. I also have some feedback to share from Trump voters who are turning on Trump's previous top issue, which was immigration. So here's what one of the focus group participants had to say on that topic.
I feel like the way that he's going about it is just really brutal. I mean, I know that people are here illegally, which I don't agree with, but I feel like he's lacking any type of compassion when he's just going into these places and like ripping people out and ripping people away from their families. And I just feel like he's doing it very like brutally in a brutal way.
Yeah. Again, that's a swing voter. So that's somebody who just voted for Trump like 7-8 months ago. Next up is a story about of an anti-immigrant man who voted for Trump after he married an undocumented immigrant. I mean, you just can't make this shit up. His name is Chris Allred. He was interviewed by the New York Times, and Allred was in his mid-40s by the time he met the love of his life. So this was an Ecuadorian woman. Her name is Jeleni, I think is how you pronounce it. So Allred still doesn't care for immigrants who he thinks, I guess not all of them, but the ones that he sees as quote unquote lazy. He calls them parasites. But he says that his understanding of the system has now changed now that his wife has been forced to leave the country. So the New York Times wrote, quote, on June 2nd, the Allreds were faced with a decision. They learned at an immigration court in Chicago that they could file an asylum claim for Mrs. Allred, or she would have to leave the country. There was no other path available if she wanted to continue the legal process. For Mr. Allred, it was the end of a 2-year journey into an unfamiliar world. He has been to court hearings, paid legal fees, and seen firsthand how hard it is to get legal status. I asked if it had changed him. He said it had made him a little softer, a little more aware, a little more compassionate. He said he learned that the law was so slow and so restrictive that it was difficult to follow. He gave an example of a Haitian woman with her teenage son waiting ahead of them in line in Chicago. She was given a court date 2 years out. He said the legal limbo that creates is dangerous for immigrants. And Allred told the reporter, quote, you work black market jobs. You can't have a bank account. You've got to carry cash. You're extremely vulnerable. And Allred acknowledged that the Trump administration is using what he called dirty tricks by arresting people who show up to court for, trying to follow the law, trying to do the right thing. So he said, quote, you show up, you think you're trying to do the right thing, and ICE is right outside the door. No warning, no nothing. I think if a person takes the responsibility to show up, they deserve a chance to at least go through the process. And then he also said, quote, Kristi Noem's out there saying, we're gonna find you, we're hunting you down, like they're animals. No, they're human beings, they're people. There's a baseline of respect that they deserve. So he's getting a really hard glimpse, in a difficult situation for himself into what people go through and why it's not so easy, why it's not like the people who came here in the 80s and the 90s. That world doesn't exist. Our immigration system is totally different from then. It's not just, oh, you apply and you go through classes and whoa, yay, you're a US citizen. Doesn't work that way anymore. It's very expensive. It's very time consuming. As for his wife, as for Jelani, she decided to go back to Ecuador. She didn't want to risk losing her asylum case because then she wouldn't be eligible to come back. And so Allred is going with her. So he is now learning Spanish. He's preparing to become an immigrant himself. And he's starting over in a new country. And he said, quote, to myself, I've said a few times, I just kind of want my simple little life back. I mean, if he hadn't voted based on hate and ignorance, he would still have his little safe life, his little simple life, He wouldn't have to move to another country. He wouldn't have to, go start over in a foreign land. He would be able to be here in America with the love of his life. So what are you going to do next time, guy? You still going to vote for Republicans who destroyed your life? Anyway, we'll see, I guess. All right, guys, thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.